So some people might wonder why it is, if this was meant to be a 1.5 degree COP, the COP that was kept us below 1.5, why we're leaving Glasgow heading towards 2.7 degrees warming, at least, if not more. It's because, the United States insisted on a dismantling of any legally binding targets because they didn't want to basically do their fair share. And to their eternal shame, I have to say, a lot of Western NGOs backed that in an idea that, the whole goal was if you capture China as well as America and the European Union, everything would be all right. And that justice and fairness was a nice thing, but it wasn't the most important thing. And we've always argued, without fairness, you're never going to convince people to do their fair bit. So in the Paris Agreement, it was all pledges, and you pledge what you think you want to do. And the Americans are not doing their fair share. Like the UK is not doing its fair share. We've done research saying that shows that if the UK, as the sixth biggest historical polluter in the world, did its fair share of effort, we'd be at minus 200% by 2030. Similarly, the United States would be close to minus 200% by 2030 in real emission reduction targets, not in this fantasy world of net zero, where you can continue to pollute and sometime in the future you'll invent some technologies that will suck the carbon out of the atmosphere. Of course, one, incredibly risky. Secondly, it opens the doors to the maddest kind of technologies that have not been proven so far. So none of us would, of course, accept public policy being made on such a gamble. And that's exactly what we're doing with people's lives and our planet. Then the United States, frankly, if we wanted a real of the COP, I'd say limit the Americans' involvement. They have been the most disruptive country within the climate negotiations. They've weakened the negotiation time and time again. That issue that you mentioned, for example, on loss and damage, right, which is a fundamental issue now, because we've seen, we all can see what the devastation is happening all around the world. It's the United States who led the fight and said, we will not accept that. We're not going to accept any mention of liability. When on the fossil fuels, on India's proposal that we phase out all fossil fuels, it was the United States who led that. And of course, backed by Australia, the UK, the European Union, all of the sort of rich global north countries, because the United States, of course, allies a lot with these particular countries. So they're a very, very destructive force, and no amount of sound bites by President Biden or by previous President Obama changed the fact that actually American policy towards climate negotiations and its relentless drive to expand its fossil fuel industry hasn't really changed.